Hey guys, welcome to Pet Rambles. I'm Pet and today I'm going to ramble about Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, the first book of a trilogy, part in the realm of the Elder Rings, which this is the second trilogy of that series. And in this video I will tell you why I enjoyed this book a lot and if you are going to enjoy this book or not. And this is a spoiler-free video. I'm not going to call it review, I'm not sure how to call it. It's just my impressions, but it's hard to share the opinions without going into details. So I'm trying to be as vague as possible maybe, but also give you a little bit of nuances of why I like this and if you are going to like it, because like with books, like with everything in media in general, like music, movies, TV shows and books, right? Things are not for everybody. What I enjoy, you might not enjoy. But I was thinking what cover to showcase on the screen in the thumbnail, and I think I will go with Adnan's cover, which I think he did a fantastic job again. I really like his style. This is the Romanian edition of the book. I decided to finally read again something in Romanian. I like to mix things up, read something in English, read the audiobook, listen to audiobook, read something in Romanian. I was like, it's finally time. And I'm not sure what the hell is going on with some publishers, but tell me if you, it's a trilogy, right? There are 3 books. I do have the others right here. It's been split up. The other one is in the other room. Fantastic job. Look how beautiful the covers are. Anyway, those volume 2 and volume 3 are still available for purchase everywhere. They are on sale and things like that. But the first one has been sold out for like 2 years or so. You cannot find the first volume, which in turn makes me not want to buy the second and third edition. I'm not sure why they don't print more of the first volume so they can get rid of the third and the stock that they still have. I'm not sure. Anyway, I went to the second-hand market and I managed to find someone who sold the book at a decent price, which in turn made me buy the others and in turn made me want to read the freaking books. But anyway, why did I finally decide to read those books? Well, I'm familiar with Robin Hobb universe. I've read the first trilogy, the Farsi trilogy, which has been absolutely fantastic. I knew that I might enjoy this one, but the thing is that this trilogy is called Live Ship Traders trilogy. The thing with the spiel of this series is that there are these ships that go on water, right? But they are alive. 3 captains need to die on a ship, and that ship is going to become alive. Let's put it like that. And those ships are made of special magic wood. But this is the thing, and I will get into this later. But the reason why I wanted to start reading about this is that last year I read The Wager, which is a non-fiction book, but very, very good book. And I kind of was a little bit like, I like history, I like reading about history in general, and I'm like, I was never attracted to pirates, I was never attracted to the sea, and I was like, let's explore this a little bit. So I read The Wager, I decided to read this one. I read another book which I will make a video after this one. And recently in my London trip I managed to visit Cotty Sark just to get more immersed into this whole world of the sea, or however to put it. But yeah, the main reason why I absolutely love this book is that the main conflict arises between the characters, right? And not because there is some good versus evil kind of thing. I have no idea who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, who's going to win, who do I want to win, why are they going to win, if they are going to win, like what's going on. I have absolutely no idea, and this is what is driving me to read more about this book, because I have no idea who's the clear good guy, the bad guy, who are those. And the reason for that is that there are a couple of plot lines which run in parallel, and there are very different characters, and they are very, how to put it, very gray characters. Let's not put it that they are bad characters, they are very gray characters, because maybe they are well intentioned. And just to give you an example, with maybe the character who's going most towards the black character, it's a pirate named Kenneth, and he's a proper sociopath, and the people around him are like good people who look up towards him, and his goal is to kind of unify the pirates and get his own life ship. And his whole character, the way he's killing people and the way he's doing stuff is really like getting into like what's going to happen with this character and what is this character going to do. At the same time, we have another character like Althea. She's kind of like one of the main characters. And she's supposed to inherit this new life ship when her father is going to die on the ship. And Vivacia, the name of the main life ship in this book, is going to come alive. Kind of like some things happen, like the father dies and they have to, she's supposed to inherit the ship, the life ship, but she's kind of not ready yet. So they kind of do a thing where they give the ship to her sister, and in turn her sister, which is married and has children, is giving her ship to her husband, which is Kyle. And Kyle himself is a very hard to love character. There is nothing to love there. His way in this is what I mean. This is what I mean. He's not bad like an evil character. He's thinking he's doing right by the choices he's taking, but in turn he's kind of like killing the family. And it's a very interesting to see this character, especially on the way he interacts with his son. And this is another character, another plot line. His son, who's coming back home at his grandfather's funeral, he was donated to the priesthood, right? And he's supposed to become a priest. But the father doesn't want him to return to become a priest. He wants to become a captain on the ship. He wants to become to know how to navigate in a ship, and he's forcing him to be on the ship, but he doesn't want to. And there is an internal conflict between this Winthrow character and his father, and the way he's portraying this father-son relationship, which again, it's making things very interesting to read, and you kind of feel for this character. You kind of feel for Althea, which I personally felt very. You know how it is when you are very young and you're not your own person yet. You are still relying on your parents, and your parents treat you very unfair, and you are still feeling that you are stuck in this world that your parents decide for you, and you are simply feeling powerless. What am I going to do now? How am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? And this is the thing with Althea. She wants to prove herself, so she's running away to prove herself. And this is another thing on how she's like in this world, a female cannot be a captain, kind of, and she's going to be treated as a female. But at the same time, because she was trained to be more as a captain, she's more boyish. She knows how to do stuff, but she hasn't proved herself. She is going to run away, try to join another ship as a crew, and she's trying to appear like a man. And anyway, I don't want to go into spoilers, but this is another plot line that you are going to follow very interestingly between her and another crewman that was part of her father's crew, and that's an interesting dynamic that's going on there. Another interesting character is Malta. She's like a proper narcissist who's obsessed by social status. But even that character gets more interesting than that because suddenly you see that this character, who seems to be very naive and very young, she's like 12, she's not ready to be presented into the society. You can see that she's actually smart, and then she knows how to manipulate things and plot things. And I was like, okay, this is a character that you simply hate because he's a proper narcissist and she doesn't care about the family struggles. But then it's getting a little bit twisted, and it's like, okay, I'm very curious again to continue reading this series. It's a trilogy. I just finished the first book. I am talking right now only about this first book, and yeah, I was speaking about the characters. But one of the main things that is happening into this book is that this main family that has this Vivacia ship is getting into financial problems because of various reasons. The whole world is very not trade obsessed, but very trade focused on how they do trading with different areas of the world, and they don't want to do trading with very close nearby area, but that region, let's put it like that, that region is very intriguing because you don't get many details there, but that region are the ones that know how to use this magic wood, which those ships are made of. And it's like, I also am curious to see if I'm going to deep dive some more. So this whole world is very intriguing. Also because of the trading, of the family, of the politics, and the politics sometimes are treated indirectly. there is some satrap, I believe it's called, which is kind of like a king manager of this area. They had some deals in the past, and then he's kind of not respecting those deals, and he's kind of changing those deals. It's also this conflict between old traders and new traders who are coming into this town, and these new traders are very up to do slavery, and it's another interesting focus. And I will hold this when I'm going to do a proper deep dive, because it's very interesting on how this book is dealing with slavery and with the ethics behind it, on how they see. It's very interesting on how Wiltrow, this character, he's a priest, he's very sensitive, let's put it like that. He's going and he sees the slaves, and he's like, those people are not people anymore. They are kind of like animals. They are kind of like a commodity where people simply take the people. And it's interesting. I'm not sure how to put it. This in words. But when I was reading this, I was like, I love those books that are not just giving you facts or dialogue. They are making you think about, because slavery was real in real life, right? This is a fantasy book, right? But slavery was real in real life. People used to, it was very common. It was like, yeah, you just have your own slave, you just have your own people. There were things in the book where they were like looking at the group of people and be like, okay, it's going to cost me like this much. I'm going to bid on the group of slaves, and those group of slaves, I can get 5 days of work out of them before they die or they get diseases or whatever. And it's going to it's like business using people, slaves. It was very interesting to see how the morality behind it. And it's one of the things that happened. This Kyle character wants to do slave trading, and it's kind of like, how am I going to say this without spoiler? Because I don't want to tell you anything. I want you to discover this. But at the same time, I don't want to spoil you, but I want to entice you to read this book some more. It's interesting. Let's go back on the live ships. Like those magic ships. There are normal ships, but there are these live ships. And they have their own personalities. Vivacia, she was just born because the father died on herself. She was the third character. Those live ships have their own personalities. They form bonds with the crews. And this is one of the things that there always has to be like a person of the bloodline of the families who own the ships. And one of the things that happens is that because Vivacia, she's new, she's still not sure how to deal with everything, especially with this slave trading thing. Another thing about world building is that Robin Hobb she did a pretty great job explaining this nautical world, on how the ships work and how, like, just to give you an example, Vivacia was a bit upset about the new things that are happening around around herself, let's put it like that. And she mentioned on how she's feeling that the weight is unbalanced. And when I visited Kutisark in London, there was a child's game on how you put blocks and then you can see how the ship is tilting up. And I remember more about this when I read other things in the past, that the weight distribution of freight, or however you call it in English, it's very important, just so you don't tilt whatever is transporting. And this was like an interesting small fact. You get a lot of facts, random things, but even how to put it? When I'm saying facts, I don't mean like, oh, this is a random fact that the author is throwing around. No, you can see more details just by the dialogue that happens on how the crew lived in the crew quarters. You get the various descriptions about how the captain quarters is much bigger, and how the first mate is having his own quarters and things like that. So I think Robin Hobb has been doing a pretty fantastic job with that, and I kind of want to draw a parallel. The second book that I've read was The Adventure of Amina al-Sarifi, which I'm preparing to do a review on that, but that's a book that I didn't enjoy, and I'm kind of comparing them into my mind, because here is Robin Hobb with this monolith of a book, and she's able to do character and it's able to dive into different facts about this nautical life, but versus that other book which is not doing anything, even that it's pretending to be. But anyway, I'm trying not to combine things. So just to do a little bit of ending of a video, because I've been rambling a little bit, going all over the place. I've been struggling to write this script. How am I going to explain 800 and something pages into a video without spoiling or without going into details, but telling you why I enjoy this. But yeah, the world building, the details of the sailing feel authentic. The live ship concept is really interesting on how the ships themselves, they have personalities, and there are a couple of live ships that you are going to interact in this book. And I think they are going to be even more in the second book and the third book. I don't know. There is a live ship that's very, very interesting, which I think it might be the subject of the second book. I don't know. I'm eagerly waiting to start to read it. The trading routes between this world seems very enticing, especially how the pirates work. Oh, and there is also something with some serpents, which I think they will become more important into the second and so on books. But there are a couple of serpents, like snakes thingies, that are following the ships, and they are eating whatever those people are throwing off the ships, like bodies, slave bodies, and it's like, what's going on there? So what I like, the characters are very complex. You can see various characters who are sociopaths, characters who are narcissistic, characters who have been all their life, other people decided for them, and now they are put to be in power, but yet the parents still don't allow this person to become, and now she's realizing that, hey, I've never took decisions for myself, other people took decisions for myself. That's an interesting character. You have this character who's like between worlds, like I'm supposed to be here, that, but now I'm forced to become this, which I don't like, I don't enjoy, I'm forced to do it, I'm not good at it. The characters are very, very intriguing, and the plot lines are very intriguing because the plot lines are very different. And I did figure it out about the middle of the book that those two plot lines are kind of going to merge, but I wasn't sure how. And that was interesting to see how, and now I'm curious to see more about it. The family drama seems real. Like I've said, the characters are very various, and I could relate to some of those characters. I could relate to some of like people, friends who I knew around, and I was like, it's kind of like similar with all those other people have been living on. So it's very relatable. Those are very relatable characters. Maybe a downside of the book might be that it starts a little bit slow. It's also, as I've said, it's a thick book. It's also a trilogy, and all of them are this thick. It's going to take you some time to go through them, but I think it's worth it. So if you are the type of person who just likes to go very fast through books, or you like the classic evil versus good, maybe you won't enjoy this one. But if you like genuine human connection, genuine plot lines, I think you will enjoy this a lot. This is kind of it, me trying to speak about Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, the first book out of 3. And I do want to read the second one. I started to read, I've read a couple of pages of the second one, and I'm a little bit like, I'm not ready for this yet. I want to read something that seems a little bit easier maybe to digest. I still want to read another audiobook in parallel. I want to read something that's on paper like this to read normally, and then at the same time in parallel maybe read something that's audiobook and reading at the same time, so I can listen to the audiobook while I'm doing other things around the house. I've also been traveling a little bit, and I might have to travel again in 2 weeks, and I don't want to start something on paper because I don't want to carry this with me on the plane. So yeah, I need a little bit of a break. I'm very curious to see how this whole thing is going to turn out. It's a fantastic book series. I enjoy the way Robin Hobb is writing. I was actually thinking that, hey, I'm not really reading female authors. I don't care about gender in general, but I was thinking like, man, I'm reading a lot of male authors. I'm not reading anything female authors. And I tried to read Akotar, which is a classic female author book made for females, I believe. I'm not sure how this sounds out of context a little bit right now. I was like, wait, I'm reading Robin Hobb, which is fantastic the way she's writing, fantastic the way she's creating the characters. Anyway, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but yeah, try it out, and I'm curious to hear your opinions. And yeah, thank you for watching this. See you soon. Goodbye.